So any weight training program is gonna have some variation of the squat. And although the squat is such an important exercise, it's kind of easy to tweak your back or kind of favor one leg if you're not really aware of what you're doing in this very basic movement. So let's take a look at the squat step by step. So first, let's kind of differentiate the squat and the hinge. So the hinge, which you see typically in a lot of deadlifts and other types of exercises, the hinge is more like a kind of a bending over, but you're pulling the hips back. So you're pulling the hips back and dropping the weight, or just dropping your arms, and then pulling your hips forward. So this is your hinge. This is like what you would do in a deadlift. And then the squat is going to be, your torso is a little bit more upright, not bent over like we do with the hinge. It's a little bit more upright. The hips are going to come back just a little bit, but then you kind of come down low, and this is a press. So you're pressing your feet into the floor and pressing your legs straight. So you can even just kind of feel this movement. So again, you're maintaining your core, but you're not moving the hips back like you would in that hinge. So just try that out. Just kind of put your feet about hip width apart and just drop your hips. So bending the knees. So the knees bending and straightening are going to be part of this exercise. So just notice I'm not pulling forward. And in some yoga classes, you will see they will actually keep their torso all the way up and then bend. And this might be their chair pose. So the chair pose is a type of squat with the torso up a little bit higher, although you see people in chair pose like this. So just get that feeling, and this is going to be a quad dominant movement. So just feel the weight equal in your feet. And the pinky toe and big toe are going to be evenly pressing into the floor. And imagine that corset again, coming down. And you can do this for a long time, this just very basic squat, and see how low you can go. And the knees typically will track maybe over the toes, but depending upon your ankle mobility, your knees can go way past your toes, but it also just really depends upon your flexibility. But you always have to be mindful. It's not really as much about how far your knees go. It's mostly just about focusing on those muscles, all those muscles in the quads. Okay, so let's add a little bit of weight. So grab your curtain rod, grab your PVC bar. I'm wigging a little bit. And let's just see what that's like with just a little bit of posture correction that the bar gives us. So because I'm not at home, I don't have my curtain rod, but I have a body bar here. And the body bar has a little bit of weight. This one I think is 9 pounds. But you really don't need a lot because this really gives you an idea of what your posture. So if you're just doing the squat the way that we were, that's fine. But sometimes we can just roll our shoulders forward and then we're torquing our lower back. So bring the bar behind you, and this might actually feel pretty good on your shoulders. I know it does for me. And just open your chest first. And now try your squat. So your feet should be just kind of lining up the same track as your knees and tracking over your toes. And then just try the squat here. So bend your knees and just notice the difference with the bar acting kind of as a little posture check. And so we're just going up and down. And what's funny is that my left knee is the one that I injured many moons ago. But it's my right knee that I can hear creaking. And just focus on the movement. So chest up. So you're not leaning forward, because then you'll feel that in your lower back. And then pressing the floor away with your toes. Now sometimes you can add a little, like some towels under your feet, and then you might feel it really in your quads. So that actually adds a little spice. But this is your basic quad dominant squat. And then from there, we have so many different variations. We have a sumo squat where your legs are wide, and then your feet are going to be angled out. And this works a little bit more of the inner thighs, and the quads are still working, but you'll definitely feel it in the groin area. And then you press up with the inner feet as you really feel. You also feel this in your glutes as well. So this is just one of the most basic movements that we have. But just getting those foundations is really, really important, just knowing what the body is supposed to do. So we work on good form before we work on really adding a ton of weight. So eventually you can move to the wall, and that presents its own sort of challenge to your legs without needing weights. Let's go to the wall. So anytime you see a wall squat, it's going to be a variation of this. So you start with your feet a little far apart from the wall, and you just kind of bend your knees until you feel just a little bit of resistance. So again, it's just kind of like, all right. And so from here, this might actually be your squat. And so you hold, so your upper back is pressed up against the wall, your hips are pressed against the wall, and you might just have a little bit of distance in your lumbar spine. And the challenge is not to go up and down, but to go just down, just slowly, just kind of inching. Just notice that I'm doing a little inchworm movement, and you really feel the burn as you come further and further down here. And then you might find your thighs parallel with the floor. And what's just kind of nice is you can just kind of sit here, and this is a nice improvement in your range of motion because you are working the legs in this better range of motion rather than just kind of going just a little bit down. So it doesn't require any weight here. It's just the weight of your body. And this brings a lot of sizzle, again, very, very quickly, depending upon how low you go. And sometimes you might see people against the wall passing weights back and forth, and that works the core. It also gets your brain to stop thinking about how much your quads are burning. So this is a type of wall squat. You can also put a foam roller against the wall and roll up and down that way, so you're getting basically a squat movement by allowing you to go up and down. You can also use a one of those big balls that you see at the gyms and just roll up and down. But this is your basic squat. So what's nice about the squat is there's so many different variations. We have the back squat, which is the weight behind you. We have the front squat, which is the weight in front of you. You have a goblet squat, which is using a kettlebell or a dumbbell and dipping low. We have the single leg squat. So there's so many different variations to kind of keep your body guessing. And it's actually one of my favorite exercises that I include in any of my leg day.